All right, hello. Welcome to the Big Noun Minisode episode 1 or Minisode 1 with Monique.
Hello, welcome to the Big Noun.
Oops, sorry about that. Featuring Monique Luttrell, makeup artist and model. She joined me for a virtual photo shoot the other day, and we did a little mini interview where we talked some makeup. We have some fun questions, and thought it'd be fun. Great way to maybe do instead of some of these long formatted interviews, throw in between some of these smaller ones where we talk about smaller subjects and more lighthearted. But what's cool about those is that people's personalities shine through still that. And with that, actually, original image I was going to use was one from the virtual shoot, which I'm still going to use down the line for one of these because I really love, and she looked beautiful. It was a great set. But I came across this photo of her, and you'll see in a minute, or if you've already gotten the reference, it kind of matched what we talked about today. It had the vibe of what we talked about, and I really loved it. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and it has gold in it, so I'm going to throw some gold leaf in it. If you're just listening along, I'm going to start in a minute. If you are paying, I'm going to talk for a second for you guys. Reference is available at Woodbury Hill Studio at Gmail. If you want higher resolution, you could find it at our page. On the main page, you can find it up above when the recording comes on. I won't be talking through the whole interview until after, so if you have any questions about painting or what I'm doing or anything like that regarding that, or even regarding the interview, go ahead and throw it in the comments, or email me at any time, and I'll keep an eye on those. I'll also keep an eye on the comments, and I'll just respond that way. Other than that, oh yes, Woodbury Hill Studio at Gmail anytime, and you'll see her handle, everything, Makeup by Peaches, Professor Snape's twin sister. You can find her makeup at that one and her personal page. I also embedded them below. And we're going to get started. Oh, and I'm working in oils. The reference, I mean, it's really fun, even if you're working in pencil, if you're working in watercolor, if you're working in any medium. But if you just want to listen along, it's really interesting too. So we're going to start now.
I'm from Canada, so I live in Barrie, Ontario. And I've lived here my whole.
Oh, sorry so much. Everything kind of got messed up on this thing real quick. I had our Twitch still up. Sorry about that.
Canada, so I live in Barrie, Ontario, and I've lived here my whole life. Yeah, it's been pretty interesting. I have a lot of awesome memories here, but I really want to travel more, so hopefully that's on the table for one day.
And so you live where it's like super lush, right? It's all like
it's pretty good.
That's amazing. I love that. I want to go to Canada so bad. I'm here in Seattle, so I'm not too far of a trip up there.
Oh man, it would be beautiful. It's beautiful everywhere, honestly.
I know. I love Canada. Okay, so do you have any? So you're a makeup artist and a model, like I said. Do you have any childhood? Like, what was the earliest influence that you remember with makeup? Like, what's the thing that you're like, this is cool. I love it.
It was actually pretty funny. Playing with my mom's makeup and just fooling around with her stuff. Like, she would be in the bathroom getting ready, and my sister and I would just take all of her makeup and just pretend and, like, play with it. That was where I really started. I was probably, like, 5 years old, just playing around, and I just loved it. Like, it was something that I just was inclined to. It's funny.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that. And I love when it's always like a parental thing too. That's so sweet. Your mom probably loves that, because I'm sure she has this whole vision of her sweet little daughters playing around with their makeup, and then to watch you, progress and be so so beautiful at it. So are like, you're an artist. It's not just like, oh, I put on makeup. You know what I mean? You really focus on detail and color, and it's not just, I don't know. I feel sometimes like even with professional makeup, they, not that there's not an avenue for being, just everyday makeup, but I love when it crosses over to that artisan side. And
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
that.
you. I appreciate you saying that, because that's huge for me. Like, I love being more artistic than just wearing your everyday makeup. Like, I really want it to be like, this is art on my face.
Yeah, and it is, and it's beautiful, and it tells a story, and like, and it like, there's a combination of it wearing you and you wearing it in a good way, like where it's such a good balance, because I feel like sometimes it could even get lost where it doesn't even look like it's no longer makeup and it turns to purely special effects, and you keep that really good balance, and I love it. It's amazing. No problem. Okay, well, we already talked about early inspirations, and when did you actually go from just kind of playing with makeup and wearing it to like, okay, I'm going to start trying some serious stuff?
I was probably in like grade 7. I remember I love rainbows, so I would do this rainbow eye, and I would wear that to school, and like, it was really funny because all my friends were like, "Wow, that looks so cool! You did a great job." But then all these other people would be like, "That's so much makeup. You need to take your makeup off." And I was like, "Screw you guys! I'm gonna keep going." So
there's no middle ground in that.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. But I mean, like, you're young and people say stuff too, so whatever happens.
Yeah, and that probably that positive and that negative influence. You seeing someone get so worked up, and then also people being so in love and awe with it. You know what I mean? It inspires you to want to go further with it. I'm
exactly.
Sure. That's awesome. What was one of the hardest things, or maybe to this day, one of the hardest skills to learn in makeup for you? Like, because I'm someone who knows nothing. I'm bad. I don't know anything. So what would be one of the hardest things when learning?
The most important thing to what I've come to learn is when you are looking for colors, because if you work with certain colors together, then they'll get all muddy and they'll get to like this brown color, and you don't want that. So it's really knowing your product, like say the eyeshadow that you're specifically using, and then making sure that you are paying attention to the color wheel as well, so that you know that these colors are going to contrast well together. You understand what color's going to come out of mixing those colors together. So that's super important. And then knowing your tools, because naturally you think like, oh, well, if I use this brush, like, it's fine. But so many brushes have a purpose for a reason. And you can gain so much like different textures and stuff like that just from your brushes.
So. There's so many, I mean, wow, I could have replaced any of that with oil painting. Like, that's exactly, that was amazing. You even said making mud. We say that too. Like, sometimes certain colors together will just purely get you mud, and there's no turning back. That's really cool to hear a connection in that. That's really cool. Well, also, that's like, it was so weird. I was like, wow, I kind of figured, just like any, something art that you do with your hands, there's so many connections. It's basically your canvas is just different, and you learn to work with your different canvas, and yours is living, so that's going to be kind of hard.
It's so much fun. And like, with everyone having a different face structure, you get to learn how to work with that, because I have to change up the way that I might contour someone's face, or their eyelids might be different. So you get to learn how to really work through those things. And even when it's like, someone's skin color is different. Like, there's so many layers that you can get through to.
Yeah, and that all comes with practice, and exactly. Trying it on different things. That's amazing. And that actually that was, you know what, actually you answered that, because I was going to say, like, what are some of your favorite, like, compared to natural, bold, special effects, but you kind of said you like more of the the more detailed stuff. Like I saw you putting actual real flowers on yourself. Like, do you mind talking about kind of cool ways you do that? Like, and so you find some of your own things to put on yourself, and
yeah. So there's sometimes I'll just go to the dollar store even, and there's these cute little like things like arts and crafts things that you can add. I have a lot of fake flowers that I'll add into my like hair to just, kind of tip that picture over to like something a little more creative.
yeah.
And when it comes to like the flowers and stuff like that, it's really fun because like I'm pretty sure I mentioned to you one time, there's a bunch of wildflowers just near my house down the road, and I was like thinking of making a look with those. And I get a lot of inspiration from other artists because there's so many out there, and they're just incredible at their work. That when you see that, and then you go out into the world, and then you can just be inspired by so many different things. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I love that. Like, I do a lot of that too. Like, you go around the stores, or you just go around in nature, and you see something that makes a whole entire look. Like, that mushroom headdress. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
That was literally a real mushroom that we found in nature, and then we started finding other stuff, and then it just kind of comes together.
And it's so cool.
Yeah, I love that. That's really cool that leads over into the makeup world too, and I love that. That's amazing. And I was gonna say, actually, you were talking about brushes and everything, because with us too, it's all about quality with brushes. And like, at first, when I first started getting into art, I thought like, oh, companies just trying to rip people off all the time. Mm-hmm. And then you do try, cheap brands, or you go through a hard time, and you're like, I'm gonna have to just get this cheap brand. During all that, I know you already had said, and I know just from my own personal experience with brushes, the quality is better. But have you found any in the cheaper brands that actually have held up, brushes or makeup wise, that you would suggest to anyone if maybe they're having a hard time? They want to learn makeup, but they can't spend a ton of money yet. What would be a good in between area for them?
So one brand would be the Morphe brushes and their palettes. They have the best like bang for your buck kind of thing because they're pretty decently priced. They're not way out of hand, but their brushes aren't going to fall apart right away. Because I have lots of brushes like that where I've had to throw out brushes. They came in a brush kit, and I thought, it's a brush kit. I spend a decent amount of money on that, and then they fall apart. But yeah, I feel like Morphe brushes are probably the best for that middle ground because they're not gonna fall apart on you. They're not gonna be bad with blending and stuff like that, but
won't break the bank either at the same time.
Yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
You can find some, like, I found some pretty decent brushes at the dollar store. So, like, it really just depends on how long it's actually going to last, because sometimes the bristles are fine.
Yeah, that's kind of the same thing with painting. Like, for the most part, I use, really high quality ones. But then every now and then you, like, come across some, like, cheapies that are just have lasted through everything. Or, like, sometimes I'll get cheap packs of brushes so that they purposely get, like, spiky or weird so I can use them to make weird textures.
Yes.
We were talking about earlier with, like, contrasting in colors and everything. Do you have a favorite palette? Or is it changed?
Yeah, so if I could afford more, I'm sure I'd have a different favorite by now. But I mainly use the Morphe 35B palette, and that one is just because it's all rainbow, and I love that capability to work with bright colors, because I myself don't normally wear like neutral tones all the time, so that one is probably my favorite.
Awesome. And then, what was it right there? Okay, that's what we were just talking about, neutral. Okay, so this is what I look like every day. And I have like super blonde, I have like no eyelashes, no eyebrows, it's blonde. But then like, my go-to, because I don't ever wear makeup, is like, I'll just grab a mascara real quick and a quick eyeliner if we're doing something really nice and like I want to at least look like I did something, And then I tend to put that on. I'm like, whoa, that's way too much for someone who has, like, you either commit to a heavy look or you don't. So, like, do you have any suggestions with someone who's like me, who has a very, like, neutral face, but wants to do something to brighten it up without, like, over-the-topping it?
Yeah. So all I can say is because if you ever, do you fill in your eyebrows or do anything with your eyebrows?
No, and I've heard people say that would change a lot, and I wouldn't have to do stuff with the eyebrows. So that would be the way to go?
I was just going to mention, like, if you can find a really light eyebrow pencil that works so that it doesn't look like you're, like, 2 blocks of, eyebrow, that would probably help a lot. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, if you're doing, like, a thick liner, not necessarily thick, but, like, smudgy because you're using a pencil, that might just add that more dramatic effect, and you're not used to that, so you're like, whoa, where's all this makeup? But yeah, I think that you got it right with sticking with the neutral tones, because if you want to keep that, that softness and that naturalness to yourself, then yeah, and you don't have to wear much makeup. You're beautiful. So, it's just, yeah, one of those things. I personally don't even wear that much makeup as a makeup artist, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, you either go in all the way and do a look, or you're just kicking it, huh?
Exactly.
That's awesome. Thank you. So yeah, that's I'll have to look into that, because my sister had said that once, but my sister's got some eyebrows when she told me that, and I was like she intimidated me. They were beautiful, but she does, like, the severe, like, the serious eyebrow cut, and so when she said that to me, I got a little nervous. But no, that makes sense when you said actually just adding more of a neutral color and, like, easing into it to build some shape. Because that's where I usually get lost, is I have no eyebrows, so I, like, lose the shelf.
Right. And you know what? Like, I don't know if you can go in to a makeup store now, because before Sephora, they'll give you a little tutorial on how to do your eyebrows. And that would be really helpful. I know for myself, I've had to follow different tutorials just to make sure that I have the shape that looks good on me. Yeah. So if I tried to do something different, then it might look pretty wacky, but...
Yeah, because it's one of those things, again, it always goes based on your face and your head shape and everything.
Exactly.
There's so many parallels to painting and makeup. It's crazy. Have you ever done painting? You probably switch right into it really good.
I love painting, but I suck at it.
It's just like makeup, though. It's one of those, like, hours and hours type of thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yep. So, you talked about some of your early influences, and then you started talking about some of your later ones, and there's so many out there now. And I'm sure it changes all the time, because, like, I mean, I know just from who I get influenced by painting and people that draw, it's just almost every day I find something new. I'm like, oh my gosh, she blew my mind. Is there a new person out there that you've caught your eye that you're really into, or someone that you...
So there's a couple. There's this one girl, I think it's Nasra Looks. I actually tried to do one of her looks not that long ago, but she's insanely good. Like, every time I see her work, it's just like, oh my gosh, how do you do that? Like, it's amazing. It's so beautiful. And then there's Blonde Taki. Blonde Taki is one that I've been following for a while. She's really cute. Like, she has just all these really colorful looks, and all of them that I follow are pretty colorful. Yeah. And, like, almost avant-garde. Like, I love that sense to things. So, yeah.
It's amazing. I know there's so many makeup artists like yourself too, who just kind of, like, almost make the face start disappearing in places. Like, you allow makeup to just, like, change part of to it. It's really amazing, the abilities that you guys can do. It's amazing. Of course. So, that also brings, is there any looks that you've been wanting to try but haven't, due to maybe supplies or just haven't gotten to it yet?
There are so many looks that I like, I'm on the fence about, because I want to try them, and I'm like, I'm going to have to sit down for a solid 2 hours just to make sure that I get this to look decent.
Yeah.
Because when you work on the detail, especially if it's just small detail on your eyelid, that can take, a half an hour of just doing like eyeliner and stuff like that. Layering
a base on there even.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so, have you noticed, so for instance, like, we're doing these, modeling during virtual. Have you noticed that there's been a lot of makeup artists actually holding one-on-one Zooms, teaching people, like, for instance, let's say tonight I was going to have, like, a date night, and I don't know diddly squat about makeup, and I could get on a Zoom with you, and you walk me through it. Have you seen any of these? They've been
I have. There's a makeup artist that I follow. I can't remember her name at this moment, but she was doing that because she needed to make extra money during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So she was actually setting things up like that, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
It's so helpful.
And it seems like something like that could just transfer over once all this is over and fully done with and everything. It's like, because I found with shooting with models on here, the photo quality isn't as well as in-person shoots. But for art, that's fine. I don't need the most high quality image in the world. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping stuff like this can start helping people, like a makeup artist who would have never been able to teach someone in a whole nother state or country can maybe sit down and make a few hours work just for talking someone through some stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's amazing. World.
Yeah. So, I think we're ready for some games.
Yes.
I do always like to ask everyone that I talk to. It's kind of down this line of this. There's like so much bullshit about COVID negatively. Is there any positives that you've had, or any silver linings as it led to anything positive?
Yeah. So I've had a lot of positive experiences. My friends and I have tried really hard to look at COVID as, a blessing in disguise. We've become more spiritually connected. We've become something, that as a female, I always wanted like a group of girlfriends that could go to each other for anything. And we've become so close, and we have built such connections with each other. We've explored things, like going out into the wilderness, gardening, all of these beautiful things. We're learning about how to live off the land again. Mm-hmm. Like all
and
these amazing.
It. That's something we didn't respect for so long. I love that, because not that no one wants COVID to happen, but it just kind of showed people there's resilience in us, and there's also it also showed that we are social creatures, and to respect that, and maybe respect more people that you interact. We're so used to seeing people, and we forget how much you influence an interaction with someone. 2 minutes with someone can really positively or negatively affect a person, and that goes way down the line. I mean, down to even traffic. You'll watch someone driving totally normal, someone cuts them off, and now they're just being a total a-hole, and then there could be an accident later. And these simple interactions, I think we forgot how it affects everyone, and that's cool. I'm stoked about that, and at least we've noticed that.
Yeah.
But awesome. Okay, so want to jump to some fun would you rathers and questions like that?
Awesome. Definitely.
Okay, cool. Okay. There they are. Okay. Would you rather be in jail for a year or lose a year off your life?
I'd rather be in jail for a year.
Me too. I'm like, I might gain some knowledge, maybe learn lift some weights or something.
Learning experience.
Cool. That's the same thought I had on that one too. Would you rather be able to see 1 year into your own future or 10 years into the past of everyone else but yourself? So if you walked up to me, you would see 10 years in my past and everyone else you interact with, or only 1 year into your life, your future.
That's kind of hard,
right?
because I love learning about other people, and I feel like I can already do that. I can look into someone's soul and be like, I know something happened to you, but it would be really cool. I mean, I'll save my future as some kind of surprise. I'd rather see people's past.
It'd be kind of like getting little history lessons all the time. Maybe walking around, you're like, oh, that's some good stuff.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Would you rather go back to age 5 with everything you know now, like where your head is, or know everything your future self will learn right now? Like all of a sudden, zoop, you know all of your information from here on out.
I'd be a pretty smart 5-year-old if I think that would be really cool, not gonna lie. Like being 5 and knowing everything that I know now.
That's where I was at on that one too. It sounded fun just to go back and be like, oh, I know what's up.
Yes, I can be that smart aleck now.
Exactly. Awesome. Would you rather have whatever you're thinking to appear above your head, like a little bubble, or like so everyone can see it, or have absolutely everything you do streamed live? So it's either knowing what you're thinking or knowing what you're doing.
I feel like I'd rather people know what I'm doing than what I'm thinking. Yeah, because like, I agree. That one's a hard one. That one I sat on for so long. I was like, I don't know what I would. That's a hard one. Yeah, it is.
You're eventually gonna get screwed. Like,
no
matter what, you're gonna piss off everyone you know.
Yep.
Okay, so, would you rather be a reverse centaur, which is like, you know a centaur, right? Or a reverse mermaid? So you'd have a fish head with leg, arm, body, or you would have a bull top with legs.
I kind of want to be a reverse centaur. That would be really cool.
Right? I was thinking about, like, you got the horns, you got great upper body. I mean, come on.
I was going to say, you got to be buff. Like,
yeah. And then you could run probably really well with your back. You would probably find a way to learn to run with your human legs and your centaur top. Yeah. Fish face is not cute. Look.
No.
Okay. Would you rather to experience the beginning of planet Earth or the end of planet Earth? Oh. And you're not going to be harmed. So you would just be viewing it, maybe from a spaceship or whatever. You'd be just a viewer.
The beginning is always more beautiful to me than the end.
Right? And then you kind of know where it's going and it has this beautiful story instead of being like, see ya.
I have a really hard time with loss. So, like, seeing that, I would be devastated.
Yeah, I like to witness the beginning, too, of that. See the beauty start. Okay, would you rather reverse one decision you make every day or be able to stop time for 10 seconds every day? So you either get to reverse the decision or just freeze frame for a second.
I would reverse my decisions because 10 seconds isn't that long.
No, you could be like, you could still get in a car accident every 10 seconds if you were pushing that long. Yeah. Okay. I like that answer too. Okay, this is a good one. Would you rather know how you will die or when will you die?
Right. That one is so hard because like, if I knew when I would die, then I know I could live my life way better than if I knew how I could die.
Me too. I was talking to Dave about this when I was like, oh my gosh, I'd have pure anxiety all day. If I knew I was going to die from a boat, I would just be panicking every time I see a boat. I'd rather just know the time period and know how long I have and fill in that time with as much fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that's with the would you rather, and I have a couple just like fun random questions. If you remember, do you have a scariest dream that's stuck in your head forever?
Yes.
Okay, what is it? Do you mind?
Yes. Okay. So it's really confusing because my brain is weird, but basically I was in a parking lot with my mom, my little brother, and our dog in a car.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, I was looking out the window, and there was like this holographic wall that separates the parking lot from a road beside it. And you know the bunny, what the heck is that movie called now? Where that guy, who's
Donnie
in it?
Danko?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Donnie Danko?
Yeah, Donnie Darko.
Darko,
There we go.
yeah. Yeah.
You got it, Donnie Danko. That would be a fun movie.
I got that dank in my head.
But yeah, so Donnie Darko is like this hologram, and he's like this holographic thing, this creature. And as I stare at it, all of a sudden my dog in the bottom of the car starts freaking out. So I look at the dog, and then I look over to my window, and I wake up, and I actually look out my bedroom window, and there's like this holographic type vision of like the Sith Lord from Star Wars. And that mixed with like Satan, and it scared the crap out of me, and I could not go back to sleep for so long. I think that was like my first like lucid dream.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty intense for me.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. There's always like one that always just like sticks in your head. You remember all the visuals. It's so weird. I know. I had one when I was young where it was like an earthquake, and my mom just dropped me off at my dad's house, and I was walking up the stairs. And then I go to my stepmom's bedroom, and there's a knife underneath her bedroom, and then I wake up. But it's so visual to this day. It's so in my head, and it's never left. And that was when I was like 8 years old. It was 10 or whatever, little kid. It's so crazy how your mind has those patterns. If you could visit one planet, what would it be? And you automatically like you can exist there, whether you're in a bubble or whatever. You can exist.
That one is really hard for me because there are so many, like, things that you could see on different planets.
Yeah.
I mean, going to, like, Saturn would be pretty cool.
Right?
I think Saturn, I would go there. Anything that's, like, I don't know. Anything that's different than this.
Yeah, I want to see some of those rings from the planet, like, and witness what that looks like for them. That's got to be pretty beautiful skies that they would that you would witness. Yeah, that's a good answer. I like that one. What's your very first memory that you can remember? Even if it's just like, you know, like mine's just like walking down this water area at this lake, and that's like it. And like I just remember it was like tiny. That's, I don't know, weird one that's always stuck.
I have a couple like memories that are like very faint, and like I remember, so I was little. This is when I got stung by a wasp in my mouth when I was little, and I don't remember that part.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember sitting at the table, like we had one of these like octagonal picnic tables with an umbrella stand in the middle. And I remember sitting there eating my snacks, and that's all I can remember. And I was probably like 3 or 4.
That's so gnarly. I had the same experience like that. I was out in the desert, and I ate a snack, and there was a fire ant on it. And then it got stuck on the uvula, the bunk, you know, that little punching ball on your thing. It got stuck on there, stung it. And then my stepmom, who's a nurse, she had me gargle hydrogen peroxide. She took a tongue compressor and was scraping the thing out. I had to eat Otter Pops all day just because my mouth was on fire.
Oh my goodness.
Gnarly. Those things are little bastards, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your opinion on artificial intelligence?
Scares the crap out of me.
Me too, right?
It's really cool though.
I know, but it's so scary. Like,
it is.
Because it's just, you know, like, I remember as a kid, like, you would see things that were nowhere near the iPhone. And all of a sudden we have an iPhone, and it's way cooler than what we came up with. So it's like, oh man, like, what are we going to be able to do soon? It's scary. But hopefully good.
Yeah, yep. All we can do is
right, exactly. What's the biggest lesson you've learned so far
Oh,
in life?
so I've done a lot of work on my mental health, and the one thing that constantly comes back to me is learning about acceptance, forgiveness, and how to let go.
Mm-hmm.
And those are probably the most difficult things to do.
Yep.
But it is so important for you to understand those things because it makes life just that much more peaceful.
Mm-hmm. You got to know yourself and know how to be around with others and respect others. And there's a lot, like, you know, it takes a lot to come out of your own self to bring into what others are experiencing. And that's an actual practice. Like, people, you know, like, I do think people have genuinely good hearts, but you do have to actually practice taking yourself out of the equation, you know, and thinking about others. So,
yeah.
What's one of the funniest things you've ever witnessed?
Dang. What's one of the funniest things I've ever witnessed? I can't tell you. There's so many funny things, but it's like I'm drawing a blank. I'm going to just say something stupid.
How about I'll tell you my story, and if you come up with something, because it is a hard one. But I'll say mine, and if you come up with something, you do, and if not, we'll jump to the next one.
Okay.
One of my funniest moments ever is our friend Manny. We go out bone hunting, and we would collect bones. Well, he would, every now and again, when we would go to easy spots, we would bring his little children, who were probably, his son was probably like 8 or so, 9, and we were hiking up a little ravine, and all of a sudden, Manny and his son were in front of us. This is a small ravine, we're right by housing, not sketchy at all, right? Manny turns and goes, run, to his son, right? So they start running down this hill, right? Keep in mind, I'm going to tell you a story, the kid is fine. So the kid runs, he keeps looking back at his dad, he's like, what? He's like, run. And me and my boyfriend are just like, what is going on? We're way at the bottom. And his son falls, full scorpion, falls in bushes. He's totally fine. Kids are pretty flexible at that age. But he, like, lands in trees, and our friend Minnie grabs his son and keeps running, and he's like, there's a mountain lion up there. And we were like, no, there's no mountain lions. Me and my boyfriend were really, you know, we knew the area so well. We're like, there's no freaking mountain lions up here, bro. So me and Dave go up there. It's a Doritos bag inside a little tiny cave this big. A Doritos bag, the silver. He saw the silver, thought it was a cat eye or something, and then just ran. It was just the funniest thing because you got to witness a kid's, like, genuine trust in a parent, and it failed. Like, funny though, not like bad trust fail, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
funny.
Yeah, that is pretty funny. Well, this one, I was thinking about this. So when I was little, my mom was playing catch with our dog, and we had a pretty long backyard, and there was a tree in the middle of it, and at the very back. So she threw the ball for him, and so he went to go chase the ball, and the ball hits off the tree, and for whatever reason, he decided that, I'm going to hit off the tree too. So he just, like, goes barreling into this tree and then bounces off. And I felt so bad for him. Yeah.
But it's one of those human dog moments, like the dog genuinely behaving how they are, and it just, that's so funny. That's great. I love dogs. They're so awesome. This is we're down to the last few. How would you describe humanity to an alien civilization? Yeah,
I would say humanity is a mess. Please leave because you are not safe here.
We're a beautiful disaster. Dave and I talk about it all the time. It's like there's these weird things, like our emotions have destroyed, yet made some of the most amazing things. Our emotions have made us do the most irrational things, like bomb people for no reason, all out of fear, to building the most beautiful architecture and makeup and art and painting. And it's just this we're a weird creature. It's so weird because like I always fall back and forth on like are we good or bad? Are we good or bad for society? Because there's because art, and then I fight that like, well, isn't art just relative to us? But then at the same time, it's like we're recording. I always imagine Professor Brian Cox said something once, and it stuck to me. And it's part of the reason I'm so driven in art, honestly, is he was explaining how long humans will exist. And he's a physicist, and he knows a lot about space. He's a very intelligent professor, and he was explaining how little time humans will exist. It's like blink in the eye in the spectrum of everything. But he tells all this really depressing stuff, right? And at the end of it, he's like, but imagine, as far as we know now, we're the universe's conscious being. We're the only thing recording what's going on and having that experience. So I battle like, we do so much things and we'll destroy ourselves so quickly or evolve and become something that can exist better. But we're sitting here all recording and witnessing this like crazy thing that we're spinning ball in the fucking middle of the universe. It's pretty weird. I just went down a big tangent.
No, honestly, my brain always does that, and it's been psyching me out lately. I don't know if it's like extra because of the COVID stuff going on, but I'm like, humans, how are we a thing?
I know, it's a weird thing we turned into. We're a weird creature, and it's pretty strange. It's a weird. We're lucky, and we're also not. And I guess that's one thing. This is one of the things I do love about the internet, is the fact that we can all start talking together instead of having everything filtered through one source. And I think as the world's been communicating, we're all like, oh wait, we get it. And I feel like the world's trying to small it back down again and simplify a little bit. But then we're also trying to expand with technology. But it's a weird thing. I feel like the technology is trying to also make us simplified. So
yeah,
hopefully we get there and fix the problem before we doom ourselves.
I hope so.
Right? So you can totally, if you don't have anything, but do you have anything weird or cool in your room around that you mind sharing? Just something random? Anything that has a cool story or...
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so I always thought that this was really cool. I used to work for a Chinese restaurant, and one time I was like really sick. I don't know like what was wrong with me, but they gave me this this oil. It's like a menthol oil.
Mhm.
And I always thought that it was really cool because it comes like straight from China.
Yeah.
And it has all of these amazing like eucalyptus mineral oils and stuff like that. And it was so strange how quickly it helped me.
Oh wow. That's awesome.
So you just kind of like rub it on your temples and you rub it on like your chest and stuff like you would with like Vicks Vapo Rub, but it's just this, really cool Chinese oil.
And it works better than... Yeah, and it's beautiful. I love it. It's cute. That's awesome. That's cool. Well, I think that's it on the questions. I had so much fun. It was so much fun. I'm gonna go ahead and below, when people see the video, I'll have links for your Instagram and everything. Your Professor Snape's twin sister. And then I'll provide links for everything. And I appreciate it so much for doing this. It was so much fun.
This was so much fun. I would be very inclined to do something like this again. Like, that's so cool.
Maybe we can do one in our long format one where we actually sit and put a whole portrait on ahead of time. We'll sit. I'll hit you up. I had so much fun.
All right.
Awesome. I'll let you get going. I know you have some things to do. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So that's it with the interview. I'm going to go ahead and go a little bit longer. And paint a little bit longer. Let me adjust my screen real quick. Oh yeah. Also, everything's below for Monique. If you paint along, go ahead and tag her in there. I'm sure she'd love to see. If you were just listening and you were just wanting to hear that, that's it for now. I'm going to go a little bit longer on painting, so if you're painting along, you're welcome to stay. I'm going to take a quick break, get my coffee refreshed, do a quick blur, and yeah. And if you just listen, thank you. I wanted to show something real quick. I forgot to show it in the beginning. This is from Trina in Butterfly, Oregon. She was one of our guests on episode 4. She is an ex-pro female boxer, and she was one of our guests, and she does these tags for rescuing animals, and she makes them, and they're all out of, let's see, there we go, out of old tags, old bells, and I'm pretty sure you can find everything on hers at Tags for Rescue. I'll add the links in it. But yeah, this is what she makes, and the proceeds go to rescuing animals, and you can find out what organizations she's worked with, or how you can donate, or where you can purchase more of these. They're really great. She gave me 2. I have another one right here. I got 2 from her. This one's from 1967, the tags. Rabies vaccination from Mecklenburg County. How cool is that, huh? And she makes these by hand. That's Trina Oregon. She's a ex-boxer and commissioner. But yes, so I'm going to take a quick break real quick, and then we'll get right back at it. All right, I'm going to get started again. I'm going to go a little bit longer. And then I'm probably going to finish this one up. Spend a little bit of time on this one. I really like it. It's fun. So I'm just going to try to kind of lock it in, get it where I want. I'm just going to, just doing a quick blur real quick, soften it. And thank you so much, Monique. She was great. She was so nice and fun. I wish we would have been able to talk a little bit more about all the cool stuff that she's done with her makeup. I tried to post some examples. So if you were watching, you can see them. And if you go back later on after it's done streaming, you can go back and see them. And then you can also just go to our page, Makeup by Peaches, with periods in between each word. And you can see those links below on our page. References available on our Twitch homepage, or you can email us at woodburyhillstudio@gmail.com. Even if you're not watching this live and you want to paint later on, you're still welcome to. Tag the model. If you post it, I'm sure she would love to see. This week we are also going to be releasing a full episode with Courtney Aura Freeman. It's really fun, educational. We talk about a pretty broad spectrum of stuff, but a lot of it to do with cannabis and CBD. She's awesome. You can look her up. She's gonna be later this week. Just a quick little a little promo, a little heads up to what's coming up. That will be on Monday, and it's fun. We talk about a lot of stuff, a lot of educational, but also really fun, and so really interesting. She has her own podcast, Conscious Cannabis, and she owns her own clothing line and health and wellness, like White Buffalo Spirits, and it has everything. It has amazing yoga pants. I love them, love them, love them, love them. They're awesome, so great. So that's going to be on Monday. That will be, I think, episode 6 of our long formatted Big Now. This is episode 1 of Minisode. I have a couple in the bank, and they're fun little shorter ones where we'll keep them in about hour and something. I'm going to go maybe like an hour and 20, another 30 minutes or so. But I'm going to go longer on this painting. I'm going to work back into it and keep working on it. Do like a rendered piece of this one. And I want to say also thank you to Monique. We did I did a virtual photo shoot with her previous to this interview, and it was going to be the photo I was going to use for this, but she talked about her favorite palette, and I'm working on this gold series, and when I came across this photo of her, I felt like it fit in that series. It fit in with who she is and what we spoke about. I really loved it, and I think it's a really cool representation of her. But I do want to do a painting, so maybe one of these when I'll go out and do a oil study with the one, because it's still a beautiful set we did, and they're really great. I've been really loving doing these different avenues in the virtual world. Um, I know it's a little harder for photographers, but for any painters or sculptors, or I mean, man, I'm sure there's stuff I'm not even thinking about. Looking into makeup, I found out while doing some research while getting ready to interview her, I came across that what I was talking about in the interview, which is that people that are teaching people how to do their makeup in personal Zoom interview or meetings, and they're walking them through their makeup for the day, or which is people that would usually go and get their makeup done for stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's a whole avenue and world of market that's not being used right now. And when I saw that it's just awesome. It's just great. I love all the virtual stuff that came up during COVID. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I mean, I prefer in person. I'm a huge in person person. But you got to do what you got to do sometimes, and it's cool that we at least had something during this, and so many people have been so innovative, and also just like Monique said, actually in it's caused her and her friends actually to get closer, and I think a lot of that has to do because all of a sudden now you have to connect differently. Like you have to go out and actually interact with people a little bit more, because you would have seen them at work, or you would have seen them at you just would have seen them out more. So that's cool. I will start ranting, and I'm going to go back to painting for a little bit. I just wanted to talk a little bit about her because she was really cool, and might have to do a longer one with her because I really wanted to actually sit and talk about how she plays them on, and talk about some of her looks that I post up there, and they were really fun, and talk about the technique and what she went through. So maybe I'll have to see if she wants to sit down for a little bit longer and talk about the looks. I don't know nothing about makeup, but I started to really, I mean, I kind of figured there was very close parallels, but it's just really cool to hear how close and how much everything has the same kind of rules, and it's awesome. It's great. That's what I love about these things. You start getting to know things about people that you never even knew, or about stuff you've never really known much about. We also have open Zoom rooms with people. If you want to join, just to hang out. David and I don't do these for teaching or classes or anything. These are just fun. We just want to paint with people and offer a place for someone to have some reference and a place to paint and get to know the people behind paintings if you want to just listen and you don't want to paint along. So we have Zoom rooms if you want. You can email us, and just so we can all bullshit and hang out if you want to. They're free open ones when we do the separate ones. And then I'm actually gonna paint, or not paint the gold, but I'm gonna actually put gold leaf on like she applied it. So I'm gonna just leave a lot of that area kind of opened up because I don't want to apply the gold leaf to paint really. So, obvious reasons why I can't play music. Um, what's people's favorite music to listen to? Comment below while they're painting. Is it podcasts, music? I do a combination. about an hour and 40. I went a little bit longer, but I wanted to get a little bit further. Oops. Looks a little bit, still not her yet, but I'm going to work on it. I'm probably going to come back in a few, get some lunch in, and then come back. All right, thank you. Like, subscribe, and if you paint along, tag the model. And even if you're not painting along live, still go ahead to feel free to email and ask any questions or email for the reference. Alrighty, everyone have a good day and thank you for watching.